Yo, peace and love, family. It's the Hood Psychologist. I'm back at it again with the legendary
Nia Queen, and this is the What's Good With You podcast.
What's up, Nia? Tell us, how was your week?
My week was filled with celebration.
Right on.
You know, I'm happy to see 25.
Yeah,
I'm
big
happy.
25. Okay.
Yeah, like I feel like,
I'm halfway to 50.
I'm kind of grown. Like, I don't want to say halfway to 50, but you know, I feel like, you know, I'm coming into my, you know, womanhood.
Right.
Yeah, I had a great time. I got to see my family. I got to see some of my friends. It was good vibes, you know, just I'm really appreciative of, you know, everybody that, you know, put in time or, you know, spent time with me for my birthday. So, you know, what's going on with you?
Yeah. Looked like I had a good time. Shoot, man, I had a good time this weekend too. I'm at a crazy little transition point right now for my family. My mom's, she just, after 52 years of searching, she just found out who her sisters are.
Wow.
She got 4 sisters. Mm-hmm. She got a brother that passed away last year, but her 4 sisters are still alive. And this is like blood sisters. We did ancestry.
Wow.
You know, we did 23andMe, you know, and we found one of the cousins, and cousins connected us to my mom's sisters. And so we've been spending a lot of time with them, you know, just getting to know them and stuff. So we rode out to Bakersfield. Shout out to you, Auntie, if you're listening. You know, I love you, and it's been all love. It's been super dope.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. That's amazing. So we are going to get right into it. Our first segment is called Hate to See It. And when I was thinking of this segment, I'm thinking like, oh, you hate to see it. Like, you know, people get annoyed when they see this, or maybe it's something that bothered them or stuck with them during the week. And, you know, it could either do with, you know, pop culture, social media, mental illness. You know, we're not going to limit everything like to mental illness. So this week, well, I should say last Friday, Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman.
Hate to see it.
Oh man, hated to see that. He passed away, and he was only 43 years old.
He was battling with cancer, right?
Colon cancer for 4 years, and
didn't say nothing about it. Like,
kept
he didn't put it in the media.
it on the low. Kept it on the low. He dealt with it in silence. But man, it really hit me, because it's like, this is a young black man. And it's like, life can be gone in a flash.
Man.
And
Hold on
like,
to your loved ones, people.
Oh, man. It's just it's really sad. And it's like, you know, to see his journey, just his professional journey. Like, you know, he went to Howard University, it's a HBCU, to come from that to, you know, one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Yeah. Not even in the black community, not in America, in the world.
Did you see that he intentionally, like, chose roles that was going to be difficult for him?
Yeah, he was really big on integrity.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't do roles that was like the drug dealer or, you know, the pimp. He wouldn't do those type of roles. He wanted, you know, he wanted to do meaningful roles. I think that's why he did all those, you know, Thurgood Marshall and James Brown and Jackie Robinson. And, you know, I was talking to my therapist about it. I was just like, I don't understand why I'm so sad. Like, I knew this man. Yeah. Like, and it seems like everybody else has, like, moved on from it on social media. But I'm still, like, I'm still sad, because it's like, he represents, you know, it's like what he represents is so big in itself. I don't think it's more so the person, but like what he represented and the example that he gave, you know, young black men, young black children, having that, you know, superhero figure that's black, not black, but he was African in the movie, you know, and was smart, and everybody was smart. You know, it was just a very inspirational, you know, movie. It was he was an inspirational person, and it's just really sad that you know, we lost him. You know,
I think some people get to a certain, like, status in society where you look at them and you think, like, you don't think this person can die,
right?
Like,
it's like they're untouchable,
you know, like Nip.
They're untouchable.
It was the same thing with Nip.
Yeah,
like, he reached that level with, you know, being able to, whatever acting roles he chose, especially with the Black Panther. Like, they reached a certain level to where it was like death never crossed your mind. You thought like for me and myself, I thought I was going to be able to see
Chadwick
Boseman.
Chadwick Boseman.
It's a mouthful for me. I thought I was going to be able to see. I just call him Black Panther.
Yeah, you could call him Black Panther.
I thought I was going to be able to see and experience his movies for the rest of my life.
Right.
Like real life.
Like Denzel. Denzel's older now. We got to see him progress from a young man to, older man. And I thought, he was on that same... He was on that same road too.
Most
but
definitely.
Yes, it's unfortunate, but that's why I felt like my birthday was very special to me, because I found out a couple days before my birthday, and it's just like every day is a gift.
Facts.
Every day is a gift. And I feel like Chadwick, he knew that. He knew that every day was a gift. He knew that, any minute he could pass away. And so he did as much as he could in that short amount of time. Those 4 years, those are like when his best movies came out.
I didn't think about that. He had an agenda.
Right. He had an agenda. He had a purpose. He was gonna change the world. That's exactly. Crazy. He's like, if I wake up today, like I'm gonna accomplish something. I'm gonna do something. And it's like everybody can learn from that.
Wow. Isn't it crazy to wake up every day knowing you're gonna change the world, like with those roles he played,
right?
He knew he was gonna.
But he also woke up every day knew that he might pass away.
Man.
So it's like that gave him, even more motivation. So, he was a gem. He was a gem, and it's like we need more black male role models like him, honestly. I hope that his legacy inspires, everybody, not just black people.
So for me personally, like, I never really even been too big on superhero movies. Marvel, DC. My favorite character was Green Lantern, because he was the only black superhero that I had seen.
Right.
I just recently found out like Green Lantern was white first.
Yeah.
But once Black Panther dropped, and I know it's been like a whole backstory to him, but once that movie dropped, I was like, oh, it's easy now. I don't even got to choose who my favorite.
Exactly.
Superhero is.
It's already here for you.
Right, I'm rocking with Black Panther.
Exactly.
I don't care what other superpowers any other superheroes got. I'm a Black Panther fan.
Yeah,
I'm
a big superhero fan. So I knew about Black Panther coming out before the masses knew. When Civil War came out, which was the Captain America movie, he was in that.
Oh, he was in it.
And I saw him, I was like, oh, they gotta give him a movie. Yeah. Then they was like, oh, they're doing the movie in 2018. I was like, yes. It just meant so much to me. I think that's why it's affecting me more, because I am a superhero, person, and I'm into movies. I'm into Marvel. I've seen like all the Marvel movies. So it's just like, wow, we had this great actor who was really embodying what T'Challa, the king, Black Panther, he was really embodying it in his everyday life. So it's just like, oh, I love this.
Hey, think about what it means to be a young black kid, or a young black man, or a young black girl. And growing up, we didn't have no black superhero.
We didn't have none.
We didn't. And you know what I'm saying? And that's like the everyday reality of being black in America. It's like the people in the prominent positions of power, they don't look like us.
Right.
But kids nowadays got a superhero that they can say is
right.
black.
I saw my little cousins playing with Black Panther toys last night, and I was just like, oh, man, like they could just go to the store. I want the Black Panther. Like they know that the superhero looks like them, has the hair like them, has the skin like them. It's like we didn't have that, and it's just let's just we gonna end on that.
Hate to see it.
Hate to see that. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rest in
power.
peace.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman.
Black Panther.
We gonna get into our meat and potatoes of this episode, and our segment is called Let's Keep It Real. This segment is when both of us, we're gonna talk about a topic. Sometimes it's like mental illness, sometimes it's just emotions, how we deal with certain things that's going on in the world. But this is the meat and potatoes. We're gonna really get deep, we're gonna really get real. And so for our first real episode, we're gonna be talking about 2020 trauma.
Let's keep
because
it real.
What? 2020, like you said, throw the whole year away.
2020 who? What? I don't know.
Can we just skip? Can we just fast forward? Like,
hey, I don't even want to go to 21. Let's just go like 25.
I only want to go forward if it's gonna get better, because 2020 just, I feel like that's the perfect word to describe 2020 is traumatic. Just from the first month, from January, when Kobe Bryant passed away. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant.
Man,
when Kobe Bryant,
you reached that status, you're immortal. You never, come on, man.
Like, how do you even fathom, like,
you know what?
He died in a helicopter crash. Like,
I took a personal hit on that, because my very first Kobe game, I was never a Kobe fan, right? When I first started really watching basketball and knowing what it was, LeBron had came into the league.
Right.
So I was watching all LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
I never took the time to sit down and watch a Kobe Bryant game until his last game, and this dude went for 60. I was like, bro, this is what I've been missing my whole life.
He's like superhuman. Exactly. Yeah. Like, no other player was like him. So it's like, you think he's invincible. You think he's unstoppable. And just, you know, for him to die so suddenly.
Hey, another black
Because he wasn't even sick. He wasn't even, you know, he's this healthy, you know, I think it was like 41, 42 at the time. And it's just like, when that happened, I feel like LA was crying. Like, just
the whole world.
The whole world was crying, but like LA, It was even gloomy that day. It was like it was cloud. Yes, it was gloomy that day, and I was just like, you know, I couldn't even.
Sad. Nature was sad.
Right? Yeah, like the world was sad, and just my mood. I was just like, oh man, his daughter was in there too. Like, she didn't even get a chance to live life, you know, and she was in there too. All the other, it was other girls in there too, other teenagers in there that it's like they never get a chance to experience life. And it's just, every time like a celebrity dies, it's just like, I don't know why I think about like my own mortality. Like, dang, so how much time do I really have?
It's a real.
How much time do I? Reality. Nobody knows.
It's a real reality.
Like, Kobe wasn't thinking, oh, I'm gonna get on this, you know, I'm scared. He rides helicopters all the time. This is normal for him. So,
and we do dangerous shit.
Yeah, okay. Keep it real. Let's keep it real.
We do dangerous shit. Like, not even thinking about it. Like, we be driving. I be gassing. Like, sometimes I be lane swerving. Like, this is my life. This is reckless.
Exactly.
This is my life.
But man, that's the thing. Like, when stuff like this happens, it makes you, you know, reevaluate. Like, okay, maybe I need to be more careful. Maybe I need to not just be so reckless. You know, because we take life for granted, especially people our age.
Oh, for sure.
We take life for granted, and it's like, even I would say the biggest example right now is, you know, we're in a pandemic. Coronavirus is still real, still here, even though people think that it's not real. And you know, I will admit to myself, I didn't really believe the hype at first. Like, you know, I was happy to be working from home.
Did you catch it?
I don't think so. I never got tested, because I've heard a lot of things about but you know, we're not gonna talk about testing and all that. But just being in a pandemic, I've seen, like, you know, my parents watch the news all day and they get anxious and they're like, no, you can't do this. No, make sure you wear your mask. No. And I'm like, I can't sit there and watch the news all day and see about all these people dying. Like, they have on the news the death toll, and it's just like, it just goes up, and it's just like, these are people's lives. These are not just numbers.
Hey, you know, a lot of times when we think about death, we just think about that person, but like, what about the family behind that? Like, you know how many tears are shed behind one person's death? Like,
a lot.
Man.
Yeah. It's just like having to cope with this mystery disease that came out of nowhere. And it's like, what, you know, you get anxiety from that. You get anxious, like, oh, should I go outside? Like, should I do this? Should I do that? And I feel like our generation, or just the younger generation, you know, they've been condemning us on the news, like they're having parties, they're doing this, but it's just like, I feel like I'll say that I feel like people our age aren't coping well with this pandemic, and they have to get out the house.
Yeah, we ain't
because well, you know, my parents or like my aunts, they'll be like, why are you going out? Why are you not staying in? But it's like, I kind of feel like some people really can't.
That's right.
They really can't be inside.
Right.
They really can't, you know, just sit still. They can't do it because then they're forced to think about all the bad stuff that has happened this year.
And,
so they gotta go out.
It's the safest place for somebody.
Right.
Whether people think it is.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like a lot of people, especially young people, are dealing with, you know, even the trauma of like losing your job. And not having job security, not having money. I know a lot of my peers and, you know, people on social media got laid off, you know, or if they work at a bar or a restaurant, they got laid off too. You know,
hours reduced. Your hours got reduced sometimes.
Right. So it's like when you tell us we can't work, we might catch this disease, like
it's a lot.
We have to face all of our emotions about it and everything. Like, of course, if somebody says, oh yeah, I'm throwing a little party, a little kickback, they gonna go.
Like,
exactly.
Give me a break.
Right. Especially, I'll say for me, like living at home, I was like, oh, this ain't gonna work. All of us in the house right here. Okay, no.
Hold on, everybody's in the house.
Everybody's in the house, but it's like you're forced to deal with your parents when you live with your parents. You're forced to really deal with them in this pandemic, and it's like maybe, like you said, maybe the home is not the safest place for them, or maybe they can't have peace of mind in their home. So, you know, they're unable to get through it, and they got to go out. They got to do something. They got to go to the beach at least. They got to, you know, I'll say I'm guilty of working out. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but like that's something that's been my coping mechanism for how I'm getting through this pandemic. I have to go to my workouts 3 times a week. If I don't, I'm like, oh, I got to do something. You know, like I just feel like I need to be active because I'm not gonna just sit in the house and just, you know.
No, but that's real though. It's so real that the house is not always the safest place for people, because I remember I was like 19 working in the warehouse at Under Armour. And it was like 100 and something degrees outside, and so when you inside the trucks, it's like 120 in there. But I was devastated. I was like, bro, I'm ready to go home. I need to go to my bed. This is too much. I need some water or something. But one of my coworkers, he was a Hispanic dude, and he was in there just like everything was normal. Like he was smiling, laughing, joking.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, I do not want to laugh about no hyena, whatever you calling that girl. It ain't funny to me right now, bro. Like, why are you even laughing right now? I'm like, don't you want to be home? And he like, honestly, bro, like work is the safest place for me. Like, I don't enjoy being home.
Like,
I'd rather be here all day.
Right.
That's the reality that
people
need.
They need breaks sometimes from the people in their homes.
That's like a 12-hour break for him.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when you're in quarantine, it's just like it could cause arguments, and it's like you can't go nowhere.
Man.
You can't go out after this argument. You gotta sit here and deal with it. But what else has been very, you know, hard in this pandemic or very traumatic is, you know, the killing of unarmed black men. And
man, you got
now see, this has been going on, right? If you're a black person, you know,
facts.
This has been going on. But in a pandemic, it's like we're all on social media. We're all watching TV. We're not at work. We're all at home. So we have to see this over and over and over again.
Literally see it. Like,
see it. And I'm like,
I'd be disgusted when I see black people dying on camera.
Yeah, like
why is that normal?
When the George Floyd video came out, I couldn't even watch it. I knew, because you already know before you see the video what it's about.
Right.
And it's like, I can't even get through it. I don't want to see this man die. I don't want to see it. And it's like, you know, it was hard for me to deal with it. It was really hard for me to deal with it to the point where, like, I would avoid it a lot. And, you know, in therapy, my therapist was just like, how do you feel about it? And I'm like, why are you bringing this up? I didn't bring it up. You know, I kind of got mad because it's like, that's sensitive to me. And it's like, no matter how many videos I see, I'm still gonna feel a type of way. I'm still gonna feel sad. But I learned to allow myself to feel sad. Sometimes I need to watch it just so I could get that emotion out, just so I could get that cry out. Because obviously, I cry.
I shed a tear, most definitely.
Yeah.
Like, watching it, I cried harder on the inside than I did on the outside, but I definitely shed a tear. Like, any time I see those type of videos, I'm like, dang, bro, this is really heartfelt. Like, that could be me.
Right.
Like, walking outside, I really feel like, at this point, walking outside, it's like when I was explaining to somebody when I do poetry right now, you know, I go and perform in front of hundreds of people, and when you get on stage, you like a little nervous. You always got that internal nervousness. Rather you don't show it on the outside, you feeling it on the inside. And the reality that black men, black women are living in today is we walking outside nervous, like we don't know,
on edge.
I got pulled over the other day, bruh. This cop had me so paranoid because I ain't got my tags right now. You know, I ain't trying to go up there to the DMV, just break that bread. Pandemic, everybody.
You could do it through the mail, but that's neither here nor there. Go ahead, tell your story.
I tried. They sent it back to me. What I did was I wrote my insurance on a piece of paper. Like, I didn't send the card in. They was like,
yeah. They said they need real.
Yeah, let me see the real stuff.
Yeah.
But so he pulled me over because my tags, you know, and I told myself if I get pulled over, I'm just showing, you know, I got insurance and I'm showing what they sent me. But the cop, he come to my car, he a white dude. He like, you know why I pulled you over, right? I'm like, nah. Then he looked at me like he did he scrunched his face up. He was like, I know you. I was like, oh, hell no.
What you mean? Wait, how did he know you?
I was like, hell no. Because in my head, automatically, I thought like he had a bad experience with a black guy that looks just like me. Oh. And now he thinks I'm
like
this guy.
Like he had a vendetta or something.
You feel me? Because cops pull so many people over. Like, if you remember somebody's face, y'all must have, you know, something must have happened. Right. He was like, I know you. I was like, nah, bro. I told him, I was like, I just got back from Kansas last year. I ain't been pulled over yet. It's my first time getting pulled over. He was like, nah, you lying. I remember your face. He was like, over on the east side. And I'm like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, I just came back from Kansas from school. He was like, yeah, Kansas Street. I'm like, the state of Kansas, bro. I just came back from I'm arguing with him about my identity at this point. And I'm like, black people is out here getting killed.
Right.
Worked off.
You was probably nervous.
I'm shaking. My literally, my hands, I got my ID in my paper, man. I'm shaking like, you know, I'm really nervous because this dude, this cop, he's identifying me as somebody that I feel like he had a problem with. That's why he remembered. Yeah. And that's why he's so pressuring, like, you feel me? But then the other cop, you know, he was running my ID and everything checked out. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I put my hands up. I'm like, look, man.
So what did he end up saying? Like,
I'm gonna tell you. I put my hands up. Like, look, bro. I'm like, I don't know who you think I am, but I just came back from school from Kansas. I just graduated last year. This is my first time getting pulled over out here. And so the other cop came back. He was like, oh yeah, he's good. And then he was like, oh, okay, here, just go get that taken care of.
Right.
Just walked off.
And that, I hate that.
Walked off. He didn't.
They don't apologize at all.
Come on, he didn't.
They don't apologize at all.
You know what? I had you mistaken. My bad. He literally looked at the cop. Cop was like, yeah, he's good. He was like, he tapped my car twice. Pop out. All right, peace out. And I'm sitting there like.
And you were traumatized in that moment because like, you've seen all these videos of these black unarmed men getting killed, and it's like this cop is trying to say, "Oh, I know you from somewhere. Yeah, you was on the east side." Like, no. Man, I didn't do anything.
And you know, I disagree with the people that's like, oh, well, just be compliant, just be nice, just be.
It doesn't even matter if you're nice. It doesn't even matter if you comply.
It don't matter if you comply. It don't matter if you're nice. And also, that is another man. Like, you're a man yourself. You're a woman yourself. So I don't care what type of uniform you got on. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a lawyer. You're not just going to be able to come at me any type of way.
Right.
And me have to be, you know, defenseless. Like, nah. Especially if it's my identity.
Right.
Like, you telling me I'm lying, basically. You know what I'm saying? So,
but I have like similar reactions to, you know, cops, because when I lived in Virginia, like when I was in college, I used to get pulled over all the time. Yeah. And out here, I don't really get pulled over that much, but like even when I saw a cop's lights flashing behind me, I tense up.
Yeah,
I start shaking. And it's like, me, myself, I've never had a bad experience with a cop, but since I've seen all these videos, it's like that trauma has followed me into my real life. And like, you know, normally they say like, when you diagnose somebody with PTSD, it's like, it has to happen to somebody close to you or it has to happen to you. But it's like, I don't know these people on social media that have died, but it still affected me. Like, it still is giving me anxiety whenever a cop pulls up behind me.
Yeah.
And I just start shaking. And, you know, some people in my family have had some very traumatic experiences with cops and, you know, guns being pulled on them. And it's like, they're good people, like they're church people, they're, you know, students. And it's like, these are the most least harmful people you could think of. And the cops are pulling guns on them. So what they gonna do with me? Man. So, yeah, I mean, the way that I cope with it is sometimes you do have to unplug from social media.
No, that's facts.
You have to turn it off sometimes. Like, that week when the protest was like at an all-time high, I want to say like the beginning of June, I had to just delete my social media because it's just like all I see is death of people who look like me. I can't look at that over and over and over again.
You
like
get that reaction like, again?
Exactly. Again. And it's like, how am I supposed to feel? And I was actually looking up on like the effects of trauma, and one of them is numbness. Yeah. And I feel like that's how some of us deal with it. It's like we become numb to it because it's like we wouldn't even be able to handle if we really, you know, let our emotions show each time we saw somebody getting killed. We wouldn't be able to bear it. So we just become numb to it. And it's sad that we see it that much to the point where we have to become numb to it. So
even speaking of coming numb to it, like a lot of the black and brown community we living in, underserved, you know, low income type of areas, which typically draws, you know, gang members, the hood, drugs, guns. You got so many stressors, you start beefing with people that look like you, right? Right. And so you, all your life growing up, you seeing your homies dying, you seeing your cousins going to jail for life. People are disappearing from your life, right? And it's normal to become numb to it. Right. It's just a part of the hood. It's just a part of the streets. Right. So then you start to see, okay, police is even killing black people now. Right. It's like, so I've talked to some of my homies that still live in the hood. They like, man, bro,
it is what it is.
I've been seeing
sometimes.
You feel me? My brother dead.
Right.
Me personally, my best friend passed away when I was 21 years old on some hood shit. So it's like, man, like you said, a part of dealing with trauma and being exposed to a traumatic situation is just being numb.
Yeah. And sometimes too, people use other things to numb themselves from the trauma.
That's facts.
Like, I don't want to, you know, point out anybody specific, but I know a lot of black males who smoke weed, you know, and it's like they smoke weed on a daily basis, and it's like that's how they cope. Like, they think, oh, you can't get addicted to weed, it's fine. It's like, it's not the weed that you're addicted to, it's the pain behind it. You're trying to numb the pain, whether that's with weed, whether that's with alcohol, whether that's with women.
That's facts.
You're numbing. You're not allowing yourself to feel. And I think that it's okay to be numb sometimes, because you know, sometimes we just have to be numb to deal with it. But sometimes we need to take care of ourselves. We need to take care of ourselves. That's how you properly cope. You have to do self-care stuff. Whether that's, I mean, for women, maybe that's, you know, getting your nails done, or, you know, taking a long bath, or, you know, reading a good book. You have to take care of yourself, because you know that the police brutality, that stuff is still going to be here. It's still going to happen. So it's like, we got to take care of ourselves to get through that. I mentioned before, like, how I work out to get through it. What's some of the things that you do to, like, deal with it or get through it?
I write. So I'm a poet. I'm a songwriter. I sit down and I find a sanctuary in the pen and the paper. Right. Okay. It's like and the actual act of writing it, not typing it into my phone because I'm using technology, but actually feeling your hand gliding across the paper, and you just sitting there in your own silence. I'd rather you put a beat on or something. Like, that's your own sense of safety right there. You know what I'm saying? It's like, ain't nobody take this from me. There's people out there that's willing to take my life, but me behind this pen can't.
Nobody can take that away from you.
Nobody take these talents away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I write.
It's almost like journaling too.
Journaling? Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's like the same thing.
But actually, so I want to put an emphasis on actually putting a pen, because we got all these phones, we got iPads and stuff. Yeah. It's not the same. It's not the same
as pen and paper.
Write. Yeah, when you actually write, it's more therapeutic. Like, especially once you start getting deep into your writing, you gonna start feeling the pen even feeling different in your hand.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just the emotion of it. That's one thing I do. I also work out. I work out a lot. But that's a coping mechanism.
Coping mechanism. It's okay.
Yeah, it is.
That's how you cope with it.
Yeah, it is a mechanism, but it's also just like, you know, I want to look good for myself to be able to, because that's also a coping mechanism. Every time I look in the mirror, you know what I'm saying? If I'm giving myself some positive affirmation,
right?
Like, yeah, I look good.
Yeah,
cool. This is
right. Taking care of your body is a good way to. It's a good way of self-care. You know, eating healthy, working out. That's gonna make your body feel better, which in return makes you feel better. Yep. So yeah, I get what you're saying. You're saying on that. Did you want to go into our next segment? Yeah. Did you want to introduce that?
Most definitely. So we're gonna close it out with our last segment. It's time to change your life. This is a piece that we'll be bringing to y'all every episode, and it's gonna be me, HP, with a piece of spoken word or motivational tips that I can give to you for the day. I'm gonna try to make it relate to the topics that we're talking about, but today I got a poem that I had written, and I performed it at different rallies and whatnot, but I most definitely want to leave it with you guys because I think it aligns with our podcast. So here we go. Cut the beat. DJ Nia Queen, cut the beat.
I'm gonna cut the beat for you. There you go.
My heart began to beat outside of my body. My skin, underneath eyeballs that resembled the closest thing to Ku Klux Klan pitchforks, pre-civil rights movement. My throat began to develop apraxia as every word of every syllable became more and more difficult to pronunciate, probably because your knee is on my neck and I can't breathe. My mouth home to the next ice age. My mind determined to deliver my message, my memories. Afraid they won't make it home to my wife. My future whispers the possibility of it not coming to pass to my ears. My ancestors punched me in the chest and told me, young king, man the fuck up. My mother reminded me that no matter what, she'd always be my number one fan. My spirit now on 10. My fight ready to drop American atomic bombs on anyone's China of disrespect. My soul forces me to say keep the love and the peace at the end of my words, but my love knows it has no home here. Yeah, my peace keeps telling me to turn the other cheek, only to get my dumb ass popped again. My pain has been building for 400 years. They only teach you about the last 400. My pain has been building for thousands of years. They only teach you about the last 400. Bronze bomber, what's understood doesn't need to be explained. Go Google that shit. My face, now the hallmark of confusion. My emotions, now in question. I mean, geez golly, like, why is he so angry? As if I'm the one that's messed up. As if I wasn't built under a system that hasn't forced me to be this way. You see, my truths, my speech tells the only truth this society allows me to believe. Y'all, my people are trained to think in colorless answers. My race is not supposed to matter. My truths are not supposed to be told, but my pride, my black African pride is screaming, man, y'all got me fucked up with my chest inhaling and exhaling so much it looks like I'm pop locking. My vision sees white faces complimented by white smiles. My ears now picking up Sony waves. The man in the front row whispers to his wife and says, "See, honey, I told you all black people act this way. They're ghetto and arrogant, and they love and kill themselves over street blocks that don't even have the ability to love them back. I mean, don't they know they're all redlined anyway?" Grandpa in the back says, "Shit, my daddy would have been put the whip to that nigger's back. I almost lost my purpose. They say when you get mad, you black out. Well, black people have been so traumatized in America. When we get mad, we see red, white, and blue. When we get mad, we see blue police uniforms and handguns. When we get mad, we see white blankets covering innocent black bodies. When we get mad, we see the red blood of our brothers and sisters plastered across our faces. I'm not sure how much longer the rocks of my resiliency can keep getting crashed by oceans of hate, systematic racism, discrimination. I'm not even sure if we are one nation, because there's justice and liberty for y'all. But a brother's still over here fighting for his freedom, dog. Keep the love and the peace. HP.
Okay.
For the vibes.
That went perfectly with what we talked about today. And thank you. Thank you for that. I hope you guys enjoyed our very first episode of What's Good With You. Please leave comments, subscribe to us, and follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram is _ What's Good With You, and that's 2 underscores before What's Good With You. And our email is what'sgoodwithyou313@gmail.com. Please, if you have any, topics that you want us to talk about, any questions that you want us to talk about in our episode, please submit that, because we really want to interact with you guys. And we really want your voice to be heard. We want to talk about stuff that's relevant to us. So, feel free to interact with us on social media or through email.
Please do.
Thank you.
Most definitely. Hey, keep the love and the peace.